Holy moly, it's 12 o'clock. Hi, everybody. Hope you guys are doing great. I just had to go press this little piece of fabric real quick because I couldn't find the original piece I was supposed to work with. So I'm like, oh, wrinkles. Press, press, press. So I pressed it. So we're ready for today. Okay, let's see who's here. We got Ping's here. Hi. Hi, Eva. And oh, Kathy, I remember your YouTube handle now. The music is fun, isn't it? It always makes me really like happy and chipper. Woo. All right, so I'm gonna actually get started since we're at 12. I'll let folks jump in. Oh, hi, Starlin. I saw your May blossom that you made. Good job, good job. Even though it's slow, just take it easy since you're still healing. I want you to slow down, enjoy the process, and don't get hurt any further as you're doing so. All right. Let's see. Ta-da. Oh, there we are. So let's see. Let me put my keyboard away. So I was away for like a minute. Just had to press this piece a little bit. Oh, it's kind of still wrinkly, but yeah, this side will work. There was a piece that original prepared, but I'm packing some fabric for my husband's friend. I think I packed it away for her. Whoops! But I got some new fabric. Since we are, I'm not sure if everyone's with me from the first Sewalong here, so go ahead and introduce yourself in the comments. Let's share where you're joining me from, what time is it where you're at, and how far along are you. I've been inside the, I was poking around inside the Facebook group today just to see all your progress photos, and so many May blossoms. Love it. Hi, Lori. Hi, Kim. Hi, Jenny. And I actually remember last week I started showing the edges in this fabric, right? But then it doesn't really go with all my others. And I finally found the original background fabric that I've been using from a lot of my projects. I have a little bit left, but I'm going to go on the hunt for some more so I can stock up here. Oh, we got Kim in Utah. Toby from South Carolina. Laura's in Pennsylvania. It's 3 o'clock. Okay, yay. We have Joan joining us. Awesome sauce. So I started on these a little bit and I got ahead and cut new pieces for me so I didn't have to work with this one because it kind of clashes, right? So I got my other ones. So I'm sewing these together today. Let's see. Can you guys see me okay? If you guys saw the comment from Starlin, last week it was so weird. Video wasn't working. You guys could hear me, but you couldn't see me. So I had to restart the live stream. Let's see what's going on. I'm glad you're here to check that everything's working okay for me, Starlin. So 1 p.m. in Colorado. Nice. Oh, Marlene, you haven't started? It's okay. It's not too late. You can always jump in whenever you get a chance. I know all of us are tasking on lots of different projects, so no rush. Yeah, Patricia from Louisiana. Oh, Helen's here. Hi, Helen. Let's see. Oh, Kimber's here from Pennsylvania. Let's see. Kathy says noon there too. Oh, awesome sauce. I'm a little behind. Just haven't been able to get enough time. Still doing flowers, but not stressing over it. Yeah, do not stress. It's supposed to be fun and relaxing, so do not stress. Okay. Oh, love it. Sounds good. Video's good. We're good to go. And Wendy's joining us from Iowa. And we have big wooden tent. That's all I see. Hello from Canada. It's 3 p.m. there. Oh, nice. Is it still cold or is it warming up a little bit for you guys there? Hope it's warming up a little bit. So do you guys want me to do the May edges first, or should I demo what you would do if you just applique? Let's do the applique first so we get that out of the way. Oops, I think I'm tangling my thread here. And let me know in the comments which size May Blossom. Oh, Christine. Big wooden tent is Christine. Nice to meet you. Yay. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to call you, hey, big wooden tent. Christine's much nicer. Love it. So I'm going to get another needle with thread. I'm using 50 weight to just applique, but you could also use thinner thread. This is 80 weight from Orifel. And lots of folks like 60 weight bottom line from Superior Threads. That one's really good too. Let me find a good needle. And last week, I think, was it before, a couple weeks ago, lots of folks were using silk thread too. I haven't had a chance to use silk thread personally, but here it's really nice and super fine. So if you want a thread that's thin and super thin and blends in with your fabrics, yeah, do go ahead and try silk thread. Oh, hi, Lizzie! Yay! Long time no see. And Toby is doing the 3/4 inch. Lucy, did you use silk thread? Someone's always like hardcore silk thread user. So those of you that have experience with silk thread, if you want to put in the comments too here in the chat, which silk thread brand you're using and how you like it, that's helpful for those of us that want to give it a shot but haven't yet. And I can't personally recommend it since I haven't tried it. But I know there's a few brands of silk thread that you can try. And maybe also let us know where you got it from if you do use silk thread. I know it's a little harder to find than regular cotton or polyester thread. I think I've seen one brand of silk thread at Joann's, but they didn't have a whole lot of different colors, and their spools were teeny tiny little things. So I don't know how long it would last me. But do try. Oh, you're from New York, Nancy. Nice. And Carolee's doing the 1 1/4 inch. Oh. No more snow. Oh, that's nice. Is it melting away? I like it when it snows and it starts covering the ground. When it starts melting, however, it just looks, well, growing up in Sweden, when it starts snowing, it's nice because it's like this quiet landscape, it's all covered in white, right? But in springtime, when it starts melting, it's not so pretty. It's like, ugh. And look, it looks like my head is inside of May Blossom. Can you guys see? That's kind of fun. So I'm gonna grab, well, this is the corner that I kind of pressed. Just imagine it's pressed further, more nicely. And you guys, if you guys are in the Facebook group too, the EPP Society Facebook group, you'll probably recognize Lucy's name here. Lucy, she's one of my group experts in the group there. So if you ever have any questions, she knows everything that's going on. you can always ask her too. And she's always super, super helpful. She'll get to questions before I even see them. Okay, so I'm going to start with the. So remember in the email I sent you, I said there are two ways that you could applique a block, like a flower like this, to a background fabric, not using the edge pieces that we've been doing, right? So what you could do, first choice, when I first tried these, what I did was actually make them, give it a good press after you've made your flower so that all the creases are set. Whether you glue based or thread based, doesn't matter. If you press it, it'll set the creases. And then number one choice, not number one choice, first choice you have that you could go with is removing the papers at this point. And my favorite thing is this one. This one is a pick me up. You guys see? Oop, right there. From Silhouette. It's a whole big part like this. This has little tacky stuff in it so you can pick up rhinestones and whatnot. Not sits with it. But it's by Silhouette. It's called a pick me up. But it has this flat edge here on the side. Can you guys see that? See how it's curved? And it's flat on top. I like this to remove my papers, so I don't have to try to scratch at it with my nails. So first choice you have when you have these flowers made, if you just want to applique them to a background fabric, is press it and then remove the papers, right? Tricky part is keeping the curve really nicely. When I first started making these, I did try appliquing them just straight to a background fabric after removing the papers. But you have to keep in mind that the shape probably will distort a little bit slightly. So you would take it out and then see how the seam allowance opens up. So you would have to kind of put it back in its place and press it again. Okay, so that's one way that you could do it. So, but we don't want to do it for curved pieces because it's just a pain in the butt trying to get it back to looking nicely. So I'm gonna glue paste this back as if we've never tried any of that removal stuff. So just leave the papers in, but still press it after you're done. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and place on our background fabric. The reason I didn't tell you a specific size on background fabric, it really depends. You might want to put your flowers on a whole cloth to just applique a lot of flowers onto it, or you might want to mix it in with other blocks. If you're doing a block based quilt top, then it would depend on what the other block sizes are in your quilt. Let's say it's an 8-inch based 8-inch block based quilt top, right? Then you would cut your background square 8.5 inch to account for the seam allowance around it, and then you could applique your flowers. Let's say I want 2 in here, right? But just to do the demo, let's see, we just have this background fabric. I'm not quite sure what I'm not gonna do with it yet. So I'm just gonna take this piece of fabric. I'm gonna leave myself ample room around depending on, you know, what I might decide to do with it later. Maybe I'll just turn this into a pot holder or mug rug perhaps. You can never have too many mug rugs, right? So I'm gonna place this, and let's grab that glue stick of yours again. You guys are probably familiar if you would do a lot of applique with applique glue, right? That you put in little dots. It's liquid, but I just like to use my glue stick, and then I just put it on the seam allowance. Okay, like so, and just put it lightly. You don't have to put like a whole lot. And I actually left my cap open on this, so it dried out a little bit. Don't tell Caleb, okay? Shh. Okay, so we got a little glue on there, little tackiness. Let's say I want to center this here, and then I'm just gonna hold it down. Am I on the right side of the fabric? It has these white on white dots. I think I'm on the right side. Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. Oh, I'm seeing some comments. Let me just go and check real quick. Who's using silk thread? I'm curious to know too. Da-da-da. See. Oh yeah, Carolee, definitely try the 80 weight. You might like that. Yeah. Always experiment with your threads. Um, you know what, Marlene? I use the Clover black with the gold eye. It's applique needle size. You know what? I'll put that in the comments. I always forget, but it has a super teeny tiny little eye, and it works really great with this. Sometimes I do miss it if I don't place the needle straight in. I might put it sideways a little bit, and then the little needle threading arm here, the lever, it won't push the thread through. But like 2 or 3 tries, and you should be fine. And it takes a little getting used to when you're using a needle with such a small eye, right? But it's nice. It's quicker than me having to sit, trying to do this sometimes when I can't see well. So do try it. And this is the Clover desktop needle threader. Let's see. Oh, the snow's gone, Tony. Yes, awesome. And oh, Laura is using YLI silk. Nice. Nancy's doing the 1.5 inch. Uh, 1.5 inch and half. Oh, did you shrink it up or shrink it down and blow it up? And let's see. Doo-doo-doo. Starling YLI is a brand name. Yeah. They actually do a lot of different thread kinds. They got really nice jean thread too. If you ever sew jeans, yeah, they got that jean. If you look at your jean pants, it has that golden, thicker, almost ropey looking like thread, right? They have that kind of thread. It's really nice. Oh, I thought for some reason I thought you had tried silk, Lissy. Let's see. Honey, if your papers are falling out, put a little more glue. Yeah. So when I do demo, I tend to put a lot of glue just so you guys can see where the glue goes. But put lighter. You don't want to put so much as I did, which makes it harder to remove it. So yeah, try putting a little bit more if your papers are just like bloop, popping out. Oh no, Julie! I'm glad you're here though. You made it. Yay! Oh, here we go. Laura's got an answer. Oh, I didn't know they were out of South Carolina. That's interesting. Oh, and the silk thread is from Japan. Nice. Nice. See, Anne loves that needle threader too. Yeah, it's super handy dandy. Um, Nancy, you have the needle threader, but it's not working? Let me know. Maybe I'm mixing up the comments. Tony, have you tried just if you find that the glue pen glues are not strong enough, try the good old school glue. It might, maybe it's the climate you're in. There's a lot of different factors for how glue behaves. It got a mind of its own. Um, oh, Julie was on the dilly flower lesson. I'm glad you made it to the May blossoms. Okay, all right. Oh, the needle threader didn't work for you? Interesting. What size needle do you use, Nancy? I know all of you guys have tips. Which size needles do you use? Share in the comments. Maybe we can troubleshoot. So while I've been reading your comments, see how this is now stuck? You don't need to use a whole lot of glue. You just need it to be stuck to the background fabric. And now we can just applique this, but it's stuck with all the background fabric here. We didn't remove anything. It has the papers inside. So let me go ahead and start on this one. I'm gonna start in this corner right there. I'm gonna come up from the back. And because the papers are in, the shape's still staying put. So I don't have to worry about the flower petals, the curves being distorted. So I'm coming up and then I go through a little bit of the petal fabric and then I'm gonna go down to the back. So you can do up and down or you can just pick up like this. Let's see, I came up here first stitch. And then I can just rock my needle to go to the back and come back up to the front and catch the petal fabric and just applique to the background. So do not, if you want to make sure your shapes stay pristine, I wouldn't remove the papers before applique. And just keep on going. I'm gonna do one petal so I can show you what I'm talking. Well, actually, I'll go around 2 petals so I can show you what to do after this. And oh, we got a lot of comments about the needle threaders and the eye size of your needles. So those are good tips in the comments. Carolee, the reason I would leave the papers in uh, while you're appliquing is to keep the shapes. Otherwise, when you remove the papers, it'll distort it. Especially for when we have points like this and curves, you kind of want to maintain the shape, right? As much as possible because you've taken all that time and care to make sure that you've basted your shapes and they look nice and crisp. So I don't want you to lose that when you remove the papers and try to applique to a background fabric without the papers. But yeah, it's definitely possible. I did that before. I wasn't 100% happy with the results. So this is the second option where you can actually just keep the papers in as you're appliquing, just to make sure that you maintain the shape. Plus it's nice, you can feel where the paper edge is, right? And it's super quick to just go around and appliquing it to the background. So I'm at the point, I'm just gonna go down and keep on stitching around it. So this is for those of you that don't have the May Blossom edge pieces or don't want to do the edge pieces and just want to applique to background fabric. This is your option. Almost all the way around this full petal. Yes, you would remove the papers after you applique. I'm gonna show you once I come around one full petal here. Yeah, you don't want to leave the papers in your project. And almost done. Just gonna go ahead and secure it in the back. So I'm just appliquing one petal so we can continue here. I'm just gonna lift it up so you can see. This is just where I glued, and this one petal is appliqued to the background fabric, right? Do you see the stitches? It's good that I kind of picked this sheer fabric so you can see better. So my stitches are ugly, don't look at them. I was going quick, okay? When you do this, take your time and, pace yourself and go slow. So I've got applique stitches all the way around the petal here, right? And it's stuck. So let's imagine, for time's sake, that the whole flower had been appliqued to the background fabric. And now what, right? You need to remove the papers inside. So this is where you come in with scissors. And I'm gonna go in where I imagine applique this whole thing. I'm gonna lift up the fabric, snip it, cut. Should I do a bigger scissor? No, I think this is good so you can see. And then I'm kind of seeing the outline of where my seam allowance is in the petals. Do you see it? So I'm gonna follow the outside here. And I have my stitches here, applique stitches right there. Let me draw it. You can see my applique stitches are right here. Just so you can see what the dang thing is she doing. Okay. So imagine all the blue lines are my applique stitches, and here are my stitches that I just made with white thread right there. And I just want to follow where the seam allowance is on my petal underneath and trim off the fabric accordingly, like so. And this can be a little pain in the butt, but you want to remove the excess too, especially if you end up hand quilting your project. You don't want all that extra bulk of fabric layer upon layer, batting and background fabric, you know. You want to remove excess. And let's see. And I'm gonna just chop this fabric off like that. So then once you trimmed around your whole thing, now you can go in and remove your papers. But your shapes will still be nice and crisp because you already applique them to the background fabric, right? So it's really a matter of preference. And do you want it to look as crisp and sharp as possible or not? Let's see, I'm gonna catch up on some comments. Yes, that's really good one too, Nancy. You can use the leave-in templates. So here we have the papers, and now you would go in and undo all your seam allowances here, open them up. Let's see. I think this is the one that I added more glue to. Good job, Elise. Slapping all that glue on there. Do as I say, not as I do. Less glue is better. Get that to lift up. Make sure it's all loose. Oops, push that in. And I can lift my paper out, pop it out, and my shape. Oops, let's layer it. It's still in perfect shape there. See? And it looks darker because the white paper is out. Does this make sense? Yes. Oops, my big head got in the way there. Let's do this. Oops, this one. Ah, there we go. Get my head out of the way so you can see better. So see how the shape is really nice and crisp. And now you can just go in and remove the rest of your papers after you cut the backing off, like so. So now let's jump to English paper piecing applique made easy, like the longest name ever. And that's where all these shapes come in handy if you want to play with these. So I started stitching these together a little bit while I was waiting for class today. I got my needle. And as you can see, instead of having to go in after the fact to trim the fabric back, the backing fabric to remove the papers, instead all our shapes are fitted already to the May Blossom here. And after we sew the edges together, we can put the May Blossom on top. And when we flip it, it'll already be opened up for us to remove the papers really easily. So who's got their May edges ready and prepped to sew with me today? So when you sew these edges, you want to make sure, first go ahead and make sure you place them all out so you know which order they're gonna go in. See, I mixed it up already. There we go. So we got one A piece, two B pieces, and two C pieces. And you remember from last week, right? I told you you gotta make sure you mirror the B and C pieces because they're a reflection of each other. So we got A, B, C, and flip it over, and we got a full May Blossom hexagon. Oh, Julie's sewing along. Yay! Awesome. So when you sew these together, make sure as you're putting them right sides together that you have the corners aligned. Inside edge, don't worry too much about it. Your main focus is on the corner here where they meet up. You want this to look nice and straight, right? Right there. So here it can be uneven. That's okay. This side is what we're going to focus on. See, very good. Yeah, that way you don't confuse yourself and you know which piece should be facing up and facing left or right. So now I'm going to match these two up, and this corner is my focal point where I want to make sure it's aligned. Holy moly, Tony, you're making a king size quilt? Wow, can't wait to see it. Wow, wow, wow. A big wedding. Congratulations. Is it indoor or well, I would assume indoor wedding. Or is it an outdoor wedding? So I got my corner secure here. I'm going to do 2 stitches in the corner. And open the seam along so you can see the corner there. And secure. It's a lot of work getting ready for a wedding. Let's see. And then we just stitch down. And where do we stop on this side since the seam allowance is open here, right? See where the point of the paper is right there? You guys can see it right there. Let me mark it. There we go. That's as far as you need to sew. You don't need to sew all the way down into the seam allowance. Roxanne has a needle threader? Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, if one doesn't work for you, always try a different brand. Who knows? It could be, something else might work better. I just undid mine. Oops. Ah, this is good example. See, sometimes it takes a few tries. Drop it in. Get my thread in there. Oh, there we go. And then it threaded my needle for it. Right there. Let's see. What am I missing? Aw, yeah, you're like the best mom, Tony. Spring in Buffalo can be unpredictable. Yeah, better safe than sorry, I say. And then we keep on going straight down. And I'm going to stop where my little blue mark is right there. Is the Roxanne needle threader much different shape-wise? Now I have to Google it later. And we keep on going down like this. So are you all applique enthusiasts? Do you regularly applique or just once in a while? I would love to know. I don't applique on a regular basis, just once in a while, which is I think why I prefer to have my edges prepared like this. And then I'm on the last stitch, I'm gonna twist around my needle twice to knot it. See, we got that edge. That's what we're focusing on. This side, you don't have to really worry about it. As long as you're down to where the paper ends, where your stitches are. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bury this thread in the seam allowance. Oh, so the Roxanne needle threader. Oops. Oh, the wire ones. You know, those are really handy. They're like good when you are in a pinch and just need to thread something. Yeah. Um, let's see, what am I missing? Starlin has never done applique. Ooh, orange peel. Nice. Ooh, wool applique. Wow. I know, Tony. I agree. I think EPP's got me all busy enough. So now we got half, and we just need two more pieces, right? So I'm gonna just continue. So I can stitch these two real quick. And again, we focus on this corner here. That's where you want to make sure the pieces align and they're matched up. This side, don't worry too much about it. And since I'm right-handed, I'm gonna start from right to left. And I take my needle through there in the first corner, one stitch, one more, secure my thread, and go down the side. Isn't it such a small world? I think it's so fun getting to know people online and then finding out that they're not that far from you, or that you have a common, childhood neighborhood that you grew up in. It's like, oh my god, what if we bumped into each other? And then I'm gonna keep on going down here. Doo-doo-doo. And if you're stitching along with me, how are you doing? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, applique is not my forte either, Lucy. I do it if I have to, but I would rather EPP. And here, do you see the corner of my paper? The end is right there. Let me mark it so you can see. And that's where I'm gonna stitch to. You feel it with your fingertips as you're working on these. So if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, let me know. But when you touch it, it'll make sense. You feel the edge of the paper tip right there. And if your paper tip is a little bent, okay, you can kind of eyeball where it ends. You're good. Don't worry about these super sharp tips. I know the tips on the papers are quite pointy, and like here I even bent mine. It's okay as long as you see where it ends when it's basted. That's the only thing that you should look out for. So bent tips are all right. So I'm at my last stitch, one more, and secure my thread. And I'm going to bury it in the tail in the seam allowance here and chop it off. And final seam, and I got my whole May edge background here finished. Oh well, two more seams, I lied, but it'll be going quick. So I'm gonna match up and make sure my points match up here, and see how this end doesn't match up perfect. It's okay. I kind of just eyeballed my pieces when I was cutting them, so that's okay. I'm just gonna flip it, and this I can kind of touch this side and this side, sharp sharp, they match, and then I'm gonna sew. I like to knot, Nancy. It makes you feel secure, just in case something happens and it all starts to unravel. And I'm gonna keep on going down. Today I'm in California, and today's like past 3 days it's been like super overcast, and then we get a little bit of sun and then it's overcast again. Weather's been quite funky, I tell you. But it's perfect weather for EPP, no matter what. Yeah, once you get, more comfortable, you can definitely skip having to do the two-handed knot, and you can just do it with your needle. But it's just so that we can all stitch together and lay a good foundation for securing our first stitches and last stitches when we're working on a seam on EPP projects. And I'm going to touch where the end of the paper tip is, right there. And I'm just going to stitch right to that point. See, almost to the end, and secure it. Ooh, almost pulled it through again. Starlin, are you doing the edge pieces, or are you going to try applique to a background fabric? I think it's long enough. I think I can do this seam with this piece of thread. And then we match up these corners. See how I just lift up my seam allowance? If you can't see where it matches up clearly, just lift it up so you can see the points and match them up. There we go, like so. You can see that. And I don't want to sew through the bulk here when I'm sewing this seam, so I just flip open the seam allowance so it stays away while I'm stitching this corner down. And then secure with the knot, knot, choop. And then we keep on going. And when I'm away from the amount where the seam allowance would cover, then I can put it back and it's fine, and it doesn't get in the way, the little tail there. I keep on pulling my needle out of my thread. Maybe it's so that I can keep on showing you it's possible to get it done with this. Okay. And now I can keep on sewing this side and we're done. Almost done. Starling, you're doing the edge? Awesome. Oh, you do a quilter's knot. Lucy? Yeah? Yeah, that works well too. I think I started doing the finger roll knot because I did a lot of garment sewing before, and when you work with the tailor, that's how they knot. And I didn't learn the quilter's knot until I started quilting, which is a nice way of doing it too. And I'm almost all the way to the end. Yeah, Joan, if you're doing the 1 inch dilly flowers, it'll fit with the 1 inch May blossoms. If you're doing the 3/4 inch dilly flowers, it'll fit with the 3/4 inch May blossoms. So the 3/4 and the 1 inch, they'll fit together with each other. May blossoms and dilly flowers. Okay, all done. I can open this up. This little bit that I opened, I can just glue that back into its spot there. And then we got A, B, and C, right? And this is for the 1 inch May blossom. I got the 1 inch May blossom here. Let's take, I'll show you with this Elmer's glue. And remember, don't do this. We don't want that, right? It's like a puzzle. Just fit it right together. Yes. And I'm just gonna glue on the seam allowance edge here. Don't glue all the way in here. You don't need to. Just along the border edge of the May blossom. Lightly. And what do I want? I think I want it this way. And when you're aligning the May blossom on top of the May edge, oops, I got a gunk of glue there. Remember to align this seam with this seam here. This seam with this seam. Same here. These seams align. This seam aligns, and this seam. So all the side seams of the petals, they'll align with the seams on the edges. See? Like so. Then you know it right smack in the center. Make sure it's stuck. Flip it. Ta-da! And no need to come back in here to trim the fabric to get your papers out, right? It's super easy. Plus, this way you can even mix and match the background pieces and play with them even further, which is why I like this method. And so this is the 1 inch May blossom. It'll go together perfectly with the 1 inch dilly flower. Ta-da! So you could start building your EPP garden with 2 flowers instead of just 1, and they'll all fit together. It won't fit together on my screen, but it'll fit together because you see how the seams align. Let me put that on top. So you got dilly flower hexagons and May blossom hexagons. This is the 1 inch size. And then I also showed you guys the this one, which size is it? This 3/4 inch size. Oh, this is the wrong one. Here we go. There we go. This is the 3/4 inch. Let's find the center. Here we go. A, B, and C pieces, right? Same here. A, B, and C. Yes. So this is the 1 inch. This is the 3/4 inch May blossom and 3/4 inch dilly flower. And it'll also fit together. Ta-da! Ta-da-dun-dun-dun-dun! Am I the only one that's excited? I don't know. I think it's super fun because imagine mixing a whole quilt top with all these flowers, and you can just mix them together, mixed in with even solid hexagons in the same size instead of the diamonds to fill the edges. Oh my gosh, you could do embroidery mixed in. There's so many possibilities. So it just makes me like really giddy seeing this come together and seeing you guys make it too. Makes it so much fun. So once we have our flower glued on top, obviously now you want to go ahead and go in there and do the applique. And so I'm gonna take my, I think we have time for that. I can show you. So I'm gonna knot this real quick. And I always like to start in a corner, right there. Oh my God, look at my tan line from my watch. So I'm gonna come up from the wrong side in that corner. Do you see my needle right here? See it right there in this corner? Oops, I need a bigger knot. Okay. And I come up through the corner. If I can see. Ah, there we go. Okay, there's my needle right there. And I'm going to catch the fabric of the petal. And then I'm going to catch the background fabric, come up, rock my needle, come up, and catch the fabric on my petal again. And just like you would applique, same thing. Ta-da! Julie, I cannot wait to see your king size quilt. Julie here, she's made like 1,000,000 dilly flowers and a gazillion May blossoms. I can't wait to see. I'm so excited. Oh, I missed this question from Starlin. Have I ever sewn all 3 sizes and then put together and sewn them together right in the middle? I have not. But you could definitely layer them if you want to, yeah. But then you would remove the papers before layering them so you can just sew them together, the 3 sizes. My applique stitch, I think they're about 1/8 of an inch-ish. About an eighth of an inch. And because we have the edges shaped to the May blossom edges, I'm just going through in between the paper of the petal and the paper edge here. So my stitches, can you see? I'm gonna lift this up. Make sure I show you. The stitches don't go through the paper and they don't go through the paper on the petal. They just go right in the middle. So see how the stitches are right there? Let me zoom it in a little bit. Yeah, there we go. See my stitches right there? So basically, it's almost like appliquing in the ditch, right? So this paper and the petal paper, it's a guideline for you to go right in between as you're stitching your applique stitches. So we flip this, and I'm gonna continue. Let's see if my paper will stay put. I think it will. Just to be safe, put a little glue. Okay, just for now, so I can just keep it put and continue finishing one petal for you guys. and just go in. So you're applique stitching in the ditch basically. I go all the way through. See my needle right there? And then it comes back up and I catch the fabric on the edge of my petal. And I go down in the same spot to the back. Rock my needle, come up through the back fabric and through the petal fabric right there. See? And secure. And go back down into the background fabric where I came up on the petal. And rock my needle and catch the background fabric and the petal and repeat. I'm just gonna go down in the corner there. Does this make sense? Is it helpful? If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And don't be afraid to bend your papers. It's just papers. And if the flowers pop a little bit because you're manipulating it, then give it a little press or put a little more glue and you're good. The Lucky Charm block. Tony, yes. That would be fun to add in. I was thinking it would be fun to add in the blooming stars. The blooming stars and the Lucky Charm clovers would be fun to add in. So we could have a full-blown EPP garden. Let's see, almost done here. And when I come down to this corner here, where the petals meet, I'm just gonna stay in the back and secure it with the knot. I'm going to split this over 2 inches. Two stitches here. So just secure that. And then you want to secure this too. 2 knots, double knots. Make sure it's snug. And then come up through the seam allowance. Bury my thread a little bit and snip it off. And my first petal is applique, EPP applique to the background May Blossom edge piece. Kim, do you mean the paper templates? Is that what you're looking for? And now I can go ahead and remove this to show you. If you're working on this, don't remove your background pieces. This is just so I can show you what it looks like. See, it's applique to the background fabric. Easy to pop the paper out. And easy to pop the petal paper out too. Where's my little tool? I like to keep my nails really short, which does not come in handy when you need nails to lift up fabric seam allowance like this. But that's when this handy dandy tool comes into place. Give it a little tug there underneath. So if you're working on multiple flowers and petals, you don't need to remove them until you're done. This is just so I can show you the process. And squish that into place. Now we flip it over. And perfect, sharp, point, round side, petal. And let's put white paper underneath so you can see better. See? Ta-da! But yeah, don't remove your edge piece until you're ready or you have connecting shapes sewn together. But this is just to see what it looks like. See how easy it is to remove the papers and no cutting the fabric to get in there, and your shapes actually look like the way you basted them. It's nice and sharp. I love it. Any questions? Yes, paper templates to come soon for Kim. Yes. And the good thing is that those diamond shapes you'll be able to mix with the where do you go? Since they're the same size hexagons, you'll be able to intermix the diamonds and the triangles, the setting diamonds and the setting triangles for these flowers. Let's see. Oh, and are you talking about the little coaster that I did? Yeah. You know what? I'm experimenting still. So this is the one that I showed a little sneak peek of on my socials. The double-sided one. I washed it once and I dried it in my dryer just to see what it would look like. And I took steps of the process so you could all see. So I'll post those. I'm gonna wash it a few more times and see how it all holds up. Because this one I just did two sides and I just did a ladder stitch on the edge. See? To keep the two halves together. I did a ladder stitch on these instead of whip stitch so you don't see the stitches. I think it looks like it's hidden, right? You don't see the seam between the two halves. And after you wash and it dries and you press it, it looks like new. Well, this is after one wash. So I'm going to try a few more washes, see how it holds up. Or if you would need to add like, supporting stitches inside. And then I can share how to do this with you. So I'm experimenting to make sure it holds up. But it's fun, right? Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Da, da, da. I think I answered all the questions. Let me scroll. Yeah, I think I got it all. Let me make sure. Karen says, now I need to go. Now I need to make more dilly flowers. Make all the flowers. Let's see. I guess Wendy had to leave. Bye, Wendy. And if you're happening to catch the replay of this, then leave me comments underneath. I know the live chat won't show up for another 24 hours. Same with closed captions. They'll be available in about 24 hours. And if you're watching the replay, you can always leave comments in the comment section, but not in the live chat. Live chat will show up on your right side and the comments underneath on the video. So I think I didn't use papers for these, Marlene. It's something that stays inside and it gives it some stability and it's washable. And I wanted to fiddle with it and play with it before I say, you guys go try it. So I can make sure that it stays put. And I washed this and I dried it in my dryer once and I pressed it and I want to wash it a few more times just to see, like if I scrunch it up like this, see how it retains. It doesn't look all wrinkly and crinkly, right? And yeah, I wanted to wash it a few more times just to see that it's something that holds up. And then I can share with you guys how you can make these too. Because I think just for gifts, right? You could make a set of 4 and just have it as a little, do I have a mug here? Yes, I do. Like this. Hello! How cute is that? Just to give us a set for a gift, I think that would be really sweet. And I think all quilters or even non-quilters would appreciate it. And you could play with double-sided too. So it's like 8 coasters and 4. Ta-da! So I'll share more once I've done a few more washing and pressing experiments, making sure it holds up. Because I would hate for you guys to try making one and it doesn't, go through the washing and drying process. So I'll do that and I'll keep you guys updated. You'll be the first to know. Let's see. Um, Yay! Oh, I'm glad you're excited, Carolee. Yeah, I think from the first wash and the drying session, the way it's held up, I'm kind of very pleasantly surprised. And I think it'll keep on holding up if I do a few more washes. So I think that'll be something fun for you guys to play with too. Um, uh, if you quilted a double-sided onto a background around the pentagon, oh, that would be fun. Yeah, it would almost be like a dimensional project, right? Yeah, so lots of different things that you could do with this once you try the double-sided. I want to make sure that it's washable through a few washes at least. And then, oh my gosh. Oh yeah, what are those baby quilts that you make, the tactile ones where they can play with the pieces? They have a name. I'm sure someone knows what it's called here. You guys know what I mean, right? Could you put batting inside here? I think yeah, you should. Yeah, definitely you could, but you want to make sure that you secure the batting so that it doesn't move around when you wash and dry it. Like if you see here, if I pull these apart, these are two sides. See, I didn't do any connecting stitches inside, but it's holding up on its own, which is a big plus for me. Unless you want to add like big stitch quilt details or even machine quilt around the edges. That's what you would need to do if you add batting inside. Otherwise, when you wash it and dry it, your batting will clump up because it's nothing to hold it in place. So yeah, this whole look, it's like a blowfish. Bloop. It's two separate pieces that have been ladder stitched together. So I'm gonna keep on experimenting, and yeah, I think it's good to go. Just give it a few more washes and a few more cycles in the dryer, and if it's still holding up, then yeah, I'll be able to share with you guys. Fidget blanket. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Kathy. I knew someone would know. You know those things where kids play. uh, oh, 3D candle mat. Yeah, that would be super cute. I know, I'm crossing my fingers, Lucy. I think it will. The way I've been tugging and like pulling at this one, I'm surprised it's holding up. I'm like, let me see if it works. So I think that's it for today. So what is your homework, you ask? Well, if you're doing just the applique to a background, go ahead and finish your flower, applique it to the background, and then remove the backing, and then you're done basically. But if you're doing the edge pieces, then finish basting your edge pieces, sew them together, making sure the outside pieces here, the corners, that they match up. Inside, we don't care so much. They don't have to align perfectly. We're more concerned about the outside edges. And then do not remove the outside paper here, edge piece. You can even leave all the papers in the petals too. But if you for some reason need to recycle the petal papers, then don't remove the edge paper, but just go in and remove your petal papers so you can make more May blossoms. And go ahead and glue glue base your flower to the background hexagon. Stitch around it, applique stitch in the ditch. EPP applique made easy, yay! And then you're done with your flower for next week. And bring me and show me those flowers next week, and I can show you how to connect them. And make sure to join the Facebook group to come share your progress. Okay? Bye, Lucy. And I will see you next week. And I can't wait to see your progress photos inside the Facebook group. And I will put, for those of you that are just joining us, let me put the Facebook group here. Facebook.com/groups. Oops. There you go. And you can come and join us in there and share your progress photos with us and with all the other Sewalong participants and see all the fabric choices they have. Like, makes me want to go buy more fabric. And I will see you next week. And I'll see you inside the Facebook group. Thanks, you guys. Bye.